And I'm back. All right. So this is the official video, the starter for this section on energy work. This first video is about how to see energy and the troubleshooting of energy. Um, if you even just, for example, just look up on YouTube, seeing energy, this is what comes up. I took the first 3 videos and had a good look at them, and I find that they're wonderful. They're not in order. The first one that I saw was Seeing Energy in the Air, Higher Balance Institute by Eric, I think it's Robinson. The second video is How to Know If I'm Seeing Auras Energy or Just Having Eye Floaters by Kelli In The Raw. The third one is Abraham-Hicks, 2006, Seeing Energy and Unnecessary Resistance from Evolution Avenue. I'm going to link all these videos in the description. I found them all to be wonderful. I think every presentation was wonderful. However, I would want to say that if I was going to take these 3 videos, I don't feel like they're in order. I feel like Kelli's video about energy, and I thought her video was the best. So, first place. Kelli goes on to explain science first. She explains static versus floaters, things that can happen, anomalies in your eye, and talks about the stages of seeing the human aura versus energy. The second video I would recommend in the order of second place would be Higher Balance Institute. They actually go on to simulate what energy looks like, which is awesome. It helps people to give a simulation of what it's supposed to look like. It helps jog memories that maybe they'd forgotten from way back when they were children, and they did this very easily and didn't even realize or think about what it might be. Eric goes on to explain static and shows what static looks like. The last video, I would say Abraham-Hicks video from Evolution Avenue, I think is so close to how I feel about my own opinion, which I'm very much aware is probably the opinion of someone who's 20 to 30 years older than I am. I would say that there's no one key point I can tell you about Evolution Avenue's video that I can say this right here, this is what you need to know. I feel like playing these videos in the order in the list I've given them would be a great way to set yourself up, get in your meditative space, and watch Kelli's video first, then watch Higher Balance Institute's video, and then watch the video from Evolution Avenue. That would totally gear you up for being in the right mindset to see energy. Because the Abraham-Hicks video of 2006 feels more meditative, and it gives you a better vibration mindset of where you should be. When you're trying to see energy, you want to be able to raise your vibration first. So I'm going to go on to what you would call my shtick of what I'm going to say about seeing energy. So you understand that you should always do research first. Think about the topic. The first thing I have down here is don't do this in front of the computer. You are not in the right mindset to do this in front of the computer. I actually thought about that watching Kelli's video, and I was looking at this dark spot down here in my monitor, and I was just looking at it, and I'm looking at it now and thinking, there is no way I could do this here in front of the computer. I mean, technically in a way I could, because I can sit here and I can stare at it intensely and immediately look up and see the buffer. All objects have almost what looks like a sack of almost empty space. I don't know if I'm even explaining that right. I can see it right now and I can see it moving. And then of course everything else starts to pop up, and it's almost like a dance. If you go sit out on the grass and look at the clouds with a friend, and you know when you were a little kid and you're like, oh look, that one looks like a sheep, and that one looks like a candy cane. You know, when you used to do that when you were a little kid, go do that. And then go stare at the empty sky, the blue sky, and you'll start to see it. If this is your sky image, you know, what you're seeing, you'll start to see it like right in the middle, and it'll start to dance, and it starts to get bigger and bigger until it's covering, and then you have to blink. Another good way to see energy is to get into the shower and relax and feel the hot water, and then look down at the floor and see your feet and the white basin of the tub, or white tile. White tile works better. You know, white walls work better. And just stare and watch. It'll appear like a shadow for me. It will start to change color. Water is a conduit. You will always have more psychic connection in a bathroom with places where water is very present. Please keep that in mind. That if you're having trouble, you might want to go into the bathroom, put your face in the shower, and just let the water run over your face, and turn over and look at the bottom of the shower, and just watch your feet, and just sit there and watch shadow. It'll darken, it'll lighten, you'll get all these very interesting features. That's one possible way. Another possible way is sometimes it's described as stepping on an anthill. Is that if you've ever stepped on an anthill, and I'm sorry if you have, because that is very misfortunate. But the minute you do it and you see the anthill and you step on it, and the minute your foot comes up, all of a sudden it's just like, and you're just like, oh my god, ants everywhere. And they don't, you know, if you're far away or you're tall enough, they look like little pixels, and it looks like pixels just spreading out of this hill. That is sort of the way that energy looks. Another good way is that if you do any drawing of any kind, try to do some still life drawing. Look at the intense edges of an object and stare at them, and don't look away. Just sort of relax your eyes and look at the object. I mean, let me see if I can do this for you. I've got a nice wall back here. You can see the outline of my hair and how I've got like all this frizz. Is that if I have my hand up against this wall, that's pretty good. And you could almost see like a yellow border. And if I pull it away, it looks different from the wall. And there's a difference between your eye making, you know, the cones in your eyes making that anomaly, and you focusing hard enough to see it's almost like pixels. Let me see if I have anything down here else that I have forgotten. Yes, definitely still life drawing is a good thing. Especially if it's a still life that's been set up. If it's not a person, and I mean, sometimes they're even painted white, some sort of matte white, so you can really see the shadows. Or if it's a person, you know, just go people watch and look at people extremely intensely. Follow them with your eyes and don't blink. Just relax your eyes, unfocus, relax, and watch people. Even in that state, like, you'll be able to feel people. I mean, I feel very empathic. I mean, people come in for work and I'm just like, you know, can see you didn't have your coffee this morning. How are you doing? And they're just like, "Bah, bah, bah." I'm like, yeah, we know. Uh, pay attention to your blinking. Oftentimes when I've seen things that are really, really spooky, the moment I blink, they're gone. And that's really disturbing to me, because then it's like, where did it go? And you never really know. I mean, it could have moved, it could have disappeared, and maybe you just lost touch. Another good way to, if you have seen the human aura by accident and you know what it looks like, it almost looks like a veil of color sometimes. Like if you're seeing a skylight and you see the color come in of the light, you'll notice that it's white light, it hits the person and it turns a different color. That's amazing. Now, when that's happened to me and other people, the first thing I do is I move. And I see, okay, is the light following the person? Is it attached to them? If it's not moving and it's moving over them, it might be a trick of the light. But if it's moving with them and it's attached to them and it's trailing, that's the human aura. It almost, Kelly explained it as the movement of energy is kind of like smoke. Spot on. Let's see if I have anything here. No, don't try this in front of the monitor. Stop, breathe, focus. Do some breathing exercises. Getting your body up to this sort of vibration can be a feat if you've never done it before. If this is something you're suddenly interested in doing, hats off to you. But you may have some difficulty and there might be some troubleshooting issues that you may need to adjust. So, you know, make a day, make a day to try your best to accomplish this. Set the day aside. Get up, eat something good, take a nice shower, get ready, sit on the porch, inhale the outside energy. Unless, of course, you live in a big city, that pollution would not be good for you. But try to find a nice area, a patch of grass with some trees. And, I mean, grass is really good because grass isn't white. So when you finally get to see energy and you are able to see it in grass and the way grass moves when the wind blows and the way energy is, I see and feel energy. And there are definitely, as Kelly said, that there are layers, which is a lot like refocusing your lenses almost. There's the outside, and that I feel like that's a buffer. It's almost like an anti-zone. Unless it's harder to see when people are touching each other or they're in close contact with other objects. But it's really noticeable when things are standing alone, is that there's almost like an encasing or a buffer. And most people do see that as clear, unless you can see like a slightly pink or maroon halo, sometimes gold. Sometimes I'll see like a slide of blue or purple indigo over one side, almost like an arc. There are times where I've seen people that have yellow down their back. I mean, I had a roommate once that was an avid smoker, and I told her, I was like, you've got to stop doing that because it looks like Crisco inside your lungs. And I could feel it. It was almost like this oily energy that you just wanted to like go wash your hands. Colors can be different for other people. I recognize turquoise as a cold color. I recognize turquoise as something might be wrong with your body, especially if it's in the wrong spot. There are certain colors that have no business being in certain spots in the body. Kelly said that for her, red is an inflammation color. Yes, if you're into the body at that point, red can be an inflammation color. Cold colors, um, gray, black. Mostly to me, it looks like like anti-Swiss cheese. Like the holes of Swiss cheese can be black for me. Um, and that can be like it's almost like an absence of energy, and that really does signify a problem. Um, that to me would be like you need to go to your doctor and go get a scan for cancer done because you have some issues. Um, but also hollow organs, kidneys, bladder. When you see strange colors that really shouldn't be in there, I mean, they should be in either a cohesive color for that person, but if you're getting multiple colors and it looks like rainbow throw up, that just means there's a lot of activity, or someone is shielding. People have their natural shields. Sometimes you can't get past certain levels. There are times I've gone in to the physical layers and all I see is just all this stuff, and I just look at it and go, okay, I'm out. And I kind of want to describe it as one of those animes that used to have all the flickering strobe lights, that eventually you saw on TV that gave people seizures. Uh, kind of like that. When I run into a shield that somebody has naturally, I don't go any further. They don't want me there. I'm not welcome. I don't feel that I'm invited to look. And it's like rummaging through somebody's underwear drawer. Like, they already have a fence there that says do not cross. Don't cross. It's disrespectful. Extremely disrespectful. What else can I say? If you're still having troubleshooting at that point and you're saying, I can't see this, definitely lower the lights. Have someone help you. Go for feeling energy first. Create your energy, roll it, inhale, push it out through your hands, get that heat going, and feel how far you can squeeze and make that pressure, inflate that. Raising your vibration, making a shield, something I'll talk about in the next video. That's really where we're getting, is that my next topic is probably making a ball and how to inflate a shield, because when you start to see energy, this is probably the biggest disclaimer, is that this gift and manifesting it and learning to control it takes responsibility, because once you see things, they see you. You have taken an evolution step, and therefore your life and the rules of your life, that game changes, because all of a sudden it's like going up a level in Mario Kart. It gets harder. There are other things for you to learn. This happens naturally with people who are naturally psychic, that are born psychic with that gift turned on, and they see things and they're like, I don't understand. And they have to learn to shield. They have to learn to manipulate energy and learn how to protect themselves and shut them off from other people, because they're usually very empathic. So if this is something you're interested in learning, I mean, Abraham-Hicks had a very good point, that if you are from love and light and you have a very good vibration, and your vibration is, energetically sound, and you're taking care of yourself and you're loving yourself and you're sharing that love with other people, you're pretty much taken care of. There's a certain level of harmony there. I mean, my mother has this harmony, God bless her. She's a person that always has her guardians with her, that she's never alone, that she can reach out for help whenever she wants, and people will be there to take care of her. I recognize that this is a part that I need in myself. But there are consequences to opening up this can of worms, if you know what I mean. If you are young, or you're curious because you found my videos for some reason and you're just watching them, and this is something that you've decided to try, do be careful and err on the side of caution, is that this can affect you. This is not something that, once you learn how to do it, you may have trouble shutting it off. Or it can turn on all by itself. You're gaining a sensitivity. And with that sensitivity, it's almost like another circle to your radar as a person. And that can affect you at random. I remember when I was younger, I was in a mall and I walked past someone, I think they were selling cell phones, and they were just like, hey, and I was just, the energy was so thick. I was like, oh, and they were like, I mean, immediately went on with their sales stick, and I was like, stop. And they were like, and I was like, get away from me. And they didn't even I mean, I felt really bad later because it must have been due to desperation. They must have been so desperate. This person, everything about their being and their aura just latched out and tried to attach itself to me. I felt so heavy. They really didn't want me to move from that spot. They really wanted to land that pitch for themselves. And I was so attentive to it, I found it offensive. So this is the can being opened. There are things that you can do to help protect yourself, shield yourself, and protect yourself from other people. Because once you get going with this, and this is something that gets to be prevalent in your life, it's hard to shut off. And there's intuition with it. I mean, you get a lot of sense of who people are, where they're coming from, their motives, and how intuitive they are to connecting with you. Not all of us can be like the host in Abraham-Hicks video, that you get the sense that this woman is just very well off. That this woman's days of being a psychic warrior may be finished, because they are already in greener pastures. They're already in a happy place. They're already on adventures that they've planned and are harmonious about. And I think that concludes this video. If you have any other questions, if there's something I haven't mentioned, I will definitely tack it onto this video. I don't think there's any other information that I could give that these three individuals haven't given. However, you can blow out chakras. You can overexert yourself. So if you start to get a headache, and you start to get a headache here, you're done for the day. You've done so many. No, you picked up the psychic dumbbell and you've done enough curls. Don't do any more. Don't stress yourself out. This takes a lot of energy to do. It can be very exhausting. The headache will last. I've done enough exercises where I've gone, okay, and now we're taking Tylenol. So keep that in mind. Don't overexert yourself, and know when to stop. I used to get a good headache going, and then I'd be like, okay, I can feel this. I need to stop now. Keep that in mind, because you can damage yourself by moving at too fast a pace. And with that, I'm definitely done.